Hey guys, we're back with lesson 8.3. We're finding the surface area of pyramids. So extremely similar to what we did in the last lesson, except we're going to be doing pyramids instead of prisms. So remember, pyramids come to a point at the top. So here we have a square or rectangular, oh actually they're calling it a square pyramid. They're showing you if you unfold it, this is what it looks like. And again, if you had that handout from last week, and if you were able to print it, this would be your square pyramid. So it's a square on the bottom, but remember, in pyramids, all sides are triangles. So this is called a square pyramid. You can cut it out and use it if you want to. And then remember, the first page in that handout looked like this. So here we're using the bottom two, the pyramids, the regular triangular pyramid and a square pyramid. Remember, the difference in a triangular pyramid is the bottom is a triangle, and in a square pyramid, the bottom is a square. Don't worry about these. Again, you can cut them off if you want. And if you have your ISN, you can even glue this right in there to help you. So here they found the area of the bottom, 7 times 7, 49. And then in pyramids, all the sides are always going to be exactly the same. So once you find the area of one of the triangles, know that the other three are going to be the same. And here it's showing you we have that bottom of 49, and then 1/2 7 times 10, and all of them are going to be 1/2 7 times 10. Add them all together and you get 189. Again, surface area is like you're cutting out pieces and putting them on the faces of every side as well as the bottom. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a couple examples down here to show you how to do it. There is no circle method for pyramids either. You just have to unfold and find all the dimensions. So here are my notes. Surface area. See last week's lesson for that foldable, those cutouts that I just showed you. And feel free to use a calculator. I'll have mine right here. Hope I can fit everything in. Okay, so I always find the bottom first. So I'm going to put B for bottom, and remember, all pyramids for a square, since there's 4 sides on the bottom, there are going to be 4 sides, which are going to be all the same exact size. So again, I'm going to just shade in my bottom. Since they're telling you this is a square pyramid, the definition of a square are all sides are equal. So if this side is 2 feet, this side down here must also be 2 feet. So that will give me 4. Now I got to find the area of the sides. So I'm just going to color in this side. If that side is 2 feet, remember this side is also 2 feet. And for the area of a triangle, that is 1/2 base times height. So 1/2, my base is 2 feet, and my height is 3 feet. Well, 1/2 of 2 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. And I know all of my sides are going to be the same. So now I can just add this up. I don't even need a calculator. 3, 6, 9, 12, 16. And I'm talking about feet. Remember your labels. And surface area is always measured in square units. So 16 square feet would be my answer by just adding up all those numbers. Now if you want to put 1/2, 2 times 3 every time, that's fine. All right, now number 2. looking similar. It's still a square pyramid. So I'm first going to find the area of my bottom. I'm going to set it up, my bottom. And since I have 4 sides on the bottom, I'm going to have 4 sides that make up the 4 faces of my pyramid. So my bottom, again, it's a square, so 5, this also has to be 5. 5 times 5 is going to give me 25. And now, if I'm doing the area of my side, it's 1/2 base. If that's 5, this has to be 5. 1/2 base times height. 1/2 5 times 5. Well, I can't really take half of one of those numbers evenly, so I'm just going to go 5 times 5 is 25, and now I got to take half of that. Some of you might already know this, but 25, if you take half, that's dividing it by 2, it's going to give you a decimal since it's an odd number. 12.5. That means all of these sides are going to be 12 and 5/10. Now I just have to add up all those numbers. 25 plus 12.5 plus 12.5 plus 12.5 plus 12.5, and I end up with 75. My unit is centimeters this time, squared. And that's it. So let's do some triangular prisms on the next page. The only difference is the bottom is going to be a triangle in a triangular pyramid. And you also have this handout from last week, so feel free to cut it out, use it. So if the bottom is a triangle, that only has 3 sides on a triangle. Therefore, you can only have 3 sides to come up to meet your point for my triangular pyramid. So here, they found the area of the base, 1/2 base times height, and they found the area of all 3 sides, those 3 triangles. These are obviously all the same. Add everything up, and you get 87.6, or 87 6/10. I'm going to do 4 and 5 down here just to show you. Alright, so I'm going to have a bottom, and I'm only going to have 3 sides. And if it's hard to visualize that, because this just looks kind of like a hot mess, especially without the dotted lines that the book can do, really use your handout so that you can see that, yeah, here's the bottom, and then these are the 3 sides. My bottom, side, side, side. That's going to help you set up the problem, because if you accidentally put 4 sides, you're going to throw your whole answer off. So now let's look at the bottom. Ooh, we got to figure out what all these numbers are, because there's a couple arrows and looks confusing. Well, I know it's a triangle, so I'm going to do 1/2 whatever my base and my height are. So if I'm looking at just the shaded area, the base is obviously the 2, that's down here. And now my height of this bottom, well, that looks like it's this red line, because that's the only number that's pointing towards the bottom of this triangular pyramid, and that's 1.7. I'll do that with my, well, I don't even need that. Half of 2 is 1. 1 times 1.7 is just going to be 1.7. Now let's find the area of the side. And remember, all sides are going to be even, or congruent, equal, when we're dealing with pyramids. So, if this side was a 2 on the bottom, that means this bottom also has to be a 2. But now my height of this shaded in triangle is 3, because you can see that red line is going right through that shaded area. So I'm going to go 1/2 2 times 3. Well, half of 2 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. And my 3 sides are going to be exactly the same. So now I can even put 0.0 to line up my numbers. Make sure your 3's are underneath your 1, because when we add decimals, my 1's place all has to be lined up. Add these together, well, that's going to be 7. 3, 6, 9, 10. My unit is centimeters, and it has to be squared. So 10 and 7/10 centimeters squared. One more. I think the hardest part of this is visualizing what is what when you're looking at these shapes. So that's why I kind of drew it out. That way I can color in sections at a time to help me see what numbers represent what. So again, I'm going to look at just the bottom. And try to figure out what is what. So I know this is a triangle, so I'm going to have to do half of base times height. Well, right away I can see my 9, that's my base. And now what's the height? I have these two numbers. Well, this is pointing to this that's not in my shaded area. This number is pointing to this red line that is in my shaded area. So that's the one I'm going to use. I'll use the calculator to do that later, because half of 9, I know that would be 4.5, but not going to be mental. I'll do all of that later. So now I'm going to try to figure out this side. And in pyramids, all sides are equal. They're the same. So once I find one side, I can just use that same information for my others. Since it's still a triangle, I got to remember the formula for a triangle, which is half a base times height. If this side is 9, I know this side has to be 9. And this time, oops, I'll come back in a second. My height is 7, because that's what this red line is right through my shaded area. And again, that's not going to be super easy, or at least not even, so just use the calculator. Remember, 1/2 is the same as 0.5. So I can go 0.5 times 9 times 7.8. And I get 35 and 1/10. Now I can do this. 0.5 times 9 times 7. 31.5. Kind of tricky with those numbers there. So I know these 3 sides are all equal. So now I'm going to add up those 4 numbers. 35.1 plus 31.5 plus 31.5 plus 31.5. And I'm going to get 129 and 6/10. I'm in inches and square it. 129 and 6/10 inches squared. So go ahead over to Big Ideas and attempt, oops, hope you could have saw that with that little dot there. There we go. You can head over to Big Ideas and work on your assignment. Have a great week, guys.